In this video, I'm taking this really neglected 5-year-old passion fruit in a container and putting it into fresh new soil, building a new trellis for it, and I'm going to show you all of that in this video right now. G'day everybody, Daz here from my Aussie Garden Kitchen, Garden Edition, and in this video today, it's exactly what I said. I've got this passion fruit that's in the container. It's the one that's been in all my videos over the last 5 years, and unfortunately, due to mental health and heart problems, I started working on it a few months ago, and then it just got left not touched. Grass has gone in and overgrown through it. It's just an absolute mess. So I'm taking it out of the container, putting fresh new soil. I'll show you all of that, and hopefully I'm going to be able to continue to have this plant grow for years to come. So as you can see, I've taken it out of the container. The soil has compacted over time. It's all hard on the outside. There's holes near the roots where ants have made nests. The grass has gotten in there and there's roots. In fact, most of those roots that you can see are grass roots. It's shocking. So I've got my shovel and I just chip away, and you can just see how it just comes free from all the roots. And what I'm trying to do is find the root ball for the passion fruit and then work my way around that and then preserve that root ball that's on the bottom of the passion fruit plant. So I'm chipping away, careful not to cut into the roots, getting rid of the soil, and it's actually coming away. The middle section where the root ball is quite loose actually. It's not a bad soil. No wonder it's done okay. In fact, it's been fruiting all 5 years in the container without a problem, but in the state that it's in now, it desperately needs help. So now I've made my way to the root ball. I'll get my hands around it and just gently give it a bit of a vibrate and a shake to get the dirt off the roots, and that way I'm going to preserve as much of the root ball as I can without breaking off a lot of the roots. As you can see, the root ball is actually not that big, which is a surprise. I was expecting it to be a lot bigger. I went through the soil later and had a look at the soil that I'd left behind, and there was barely any roots left. There was a couple of big ones that had snapped off on the bottom, but really there wasn't much to it at all, and I was quite surprised. So the soil, I've got completely new soil here in the container, and what I've done is I've gone over to where I had an old chicken coop and I've scraped off the top layer, or some of the top layer of that soil, which is rotted down chicken manure from the last couple of years, plus the dirt, which has taken in a lot of that nutrition. And I've made that the base. And then I've gone over and I've gotten some sandy, loamy soil from my yard, and I've mixed that together. And that sandy, loamy soil is going to help with a bit of drainage because of the sandy nature of the soil. Now my camera overheated and I didn't record this bit, but what I've done is I've got this cow manure compost mix here in this bag, and I've taken about 3/4 of a bag, mixed it into the soil and given it a good stir, and that's given some good organic matter to go through that soil. I've then got blood and bone. Blood and bone is basically the scrapings of an abattoir where they get the blood and the bone off the ground, and it's made into like a natural fertilizer. And I'm putting that into the soil and I'm mixing that down into the pot. And I'd say I've mixed that into about the top half of the pot. By the way, I'm actually using the same container. I was going to use a larger one, but after seeing the size of the root ball, I've got no problems repotting this in the same container. By the way, I've got the root ball sitting in a bucket of water because I want the roots to stay moist over the next day while I'm doing things to the soil and getting everything else prepared. I don't want those roots sitting out in the sun and getting any damage at all from that sunlight. Okay, the passion fruit trellis. Basically what I'm doing is I'm putting 2 poles into the ground and putting wire in between, and the passion fruit's going to grow on that wire. So the time has come to dig my holes for my poles. Holes for my poles. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Anyway, I dig the holes and I put water into those holes, and what happens there is by moistening those holes and moistening the ground, it's going to supposedly stop the water from drawing out of the quickset cement when I use the quickset cement. That was so hard to say. So anyway, that's what I've done. So I've come back the next day and the water subsided. It's not in there anymore, but all the ground is wet. And I put in my cement mix. Now, what I should have done, which I did for my second pole, is put the pole in first. But anyway, I've done it this way with the first one. So I've put my cement mix in, I've put water on top of that, then I've put more cement mix, and I give it a good mix, and I mix that cement, and I tell you what, that stuff started to set fast. When they say quick set cement, they really do mean it. That stuff started to set real quick. So I get my pole in, push it right down to the bottom, and I twist it left and right just to make sure it actually gets to the bottom. And that started staying in place straight away. It was crazy. I then get a couple of bags, and I put the bags at the base of the pole. And what these bags are going to do, they're bags of cow manure and compost, is they're going to help stabilize the pole. I then get a spirit level, and I run the spirit level up and down the side to make sure I've got a nice level post. And then I'll go around to the other side and do it again. And I'll do it on basically the whole 360 side of the pole to make sure I've got a nice level pole. Look, it doesn't need to be exact really, but it is what it is, and I got it exact. So I'm taking the credit for that one. I now let that sit for 24 hours. I then, in the meantime, go down and I do the second one. And the second one, I actually put the pole in first and put the cement powder and water around it, and then got a stick, I think it was a garden stake, and stabbed it all around and mixed it and set that really nicely into that hole. Now, as far as the wire trellis goes, I have an old piece of fencing wire, I think it's dog fencing, that I used in the yard to separate the dogs from one yard and another. So I've gotten that, and I've actually threaded one end of it down the pole, and that worked out really well. So that's gone down one side of one of the poles, this one over here behind me, and I'm able to pull on that and tension it. And then down the other end over here, I've gone and I've got wire, tied wire around the pole that's down that end, and then I've brought that over. And then at the top, the bottom, and the middle of this wire trellis here, I've gone and pulled it tight and tied it off, and that's given it really good tension. And as you can see, it's pretty firm, pretty stable, and it sits really well between the two poles. So now it comes time to put the passion fruit plant back into the new soil in the existing pot. So what I do is I make a well, put the root ball down into the well, make sure all those roots are spread out nicely in the hole, make sure they're spread out, don't clump them together. And then while they're spread out, I get my soil and push my soil back in over the top. And then I'll use my fingers like claws, and I'll push down and make sure there's no air pockets. You don't want air pockets around your roots at all. The fun part then comes where I get all those branching out vines and separate them from each other, and then weave them in and out of the wire to give me the shape that I need. And also, I'm going to give this a trim, just a little baby trim afterwards, because I've reduced the root ball size. And after it's all spread out like this, it's easier to come along and trim the ends off where I need. Once that's looking good, I get my sugarcane mulch and I mulch around the base of the plant. Now, I've done about 1 inch on top, maybe a little bit thicker, and it's really important that you don't have the mulch up against the trunk. You want it pulled back a bit so moisture doesn't get in there and any nasties grow. And that nice thick layer of mulch is going to suppress weeds, grass. It's not going to look as bad as the other one where the grass was in the soil. This one should be good. It's brand new soil. Hopefully it's going to stay grass free, and it's up to me to keep on top of that. Once that mulch is down, I get my watering can and give it a good watering in. That's going to moisten the soil around the roots. It's also going to push some of that nutrition down, and also it's going to weigh down that sugarcane mulch, and then that way it's not going to blow around in the wind because it's been quite windy the last few days. You can see that it's got a passion fruit growing on it, and it's looking okay. It is the end of the season, so I'd be surprised if that passion fruit actually gets to full ripeness, and I definitely won't be seeing any more flowers. So that's no problem, because I'm heading into winter where this is going to go to sleep. So we'll not go to sleep, but it's going to slow down its growth cycle, which is good because I don't want it to stress out from the transplant. So my plan is to baby this, look after it, maybe put some blankets over it when there's heavy frosts over winter. And then come spring and summer, it's hopefully going to come back to life and give me flowers. They'll give me fruit. And then I have this beautiful passion fruit plant sitting here that I can sit on my bench and have a drink in the morning with the beautiful bush behind me, watching the kangaroos and the emus, listening to the birds. A magic spot this is going to be in the garden. Now, I must thank my sons for helping me with this and inspiring me to get outside of the house and to finish it off, because that passion fruit was so neglected. It was in a really bad way and it was on its way to dying. And thank you to my boys again. They really saved this plant and got me out into a good headspace. Now, this passion fruit features in a few videos I've got on my channel. There's one video where it's over 300,000 views, and that's where I actually originally planted it. You can check that out. I've got other ones that talk about problems you can have with grafted passion fruit plants, which you don't know about in stores. They just don't tell you the big problem about suckers. I've got videos on passion fruit vine suckers that you really need to know about if you buy grafted passion fruit. I'll link to one of my other passion fruit videos on the screen right now. That one there's for you to enjoy, and hopefully there'll be something you learn from there. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next cooking or gardening video. Bye for now.